Lambeth needs its libraries.
Outside, campaigners wanted answers about libraries. Inside, the Labour mayoral hopeful outlined his vision for transport. And he took no time in attacking Transport for London for having a culture of excess.
So TfL is flabby, and it's not acceptable.
Sadiq Khan's main policy is a 4-year fare freeze, but there's disagreement over the costings. TfL says it'll cost £1.9 billion over 5 years. Sadiq Khan says it'll cost £452 million over 4. Crucially, both use different assumptions for inflation. But Labour insists the fare freeze won't affect investment.
The Transport for London Commissioner has accepted that my fares freeze is deliverable. He's also said it will have no impact on investment going forward. I stand by my calculations in relation to how we'll freeze fares. There are a number of things, additional things that I've announced today. On day one, for example, of me being the Mayor of London, I want a root and branch review of TfL structures and functions to make sure we look at where there's waste.
TfL says it will work tirelessly with a new mayor to deliver more efficiently. So how would a fare freeze go down with commuters?
I mean, the amount of money that the people pay for fares, it's, you know, the cash is there.
I think it's wonderful, yeah, because every year they raise the price, yeah.
It's a big company. It should be able to take some financial hit, like everyone else takes a financial hit or a pay cut. So.
And he wasn't the only candidate setting out his transport vision today. From the other side of town, here's our political correspondent, Carl Mercer.
So to Ilford, again 9:30, and the Conservative candidate Zach Goldsmith performing, as his rival was, to a hand-picked crowd of party supporters.
London's success rests upon its transport network.
Transport, he says, is key to unlocking development in London, key to building new homes. He says he'll carry on tube upgrades, expand the overground to South London and try and get cleaner cars and HGVs. How, though, will he pay for it?
There is nothing I'd like more than to be able to make a big, brash, bold pledge on fares, but I know that if I do that, either I'd have to break that pledge day one of my mayoralty, or it would be utterly devastating for London, and that is not something that I'm going to do. It's not a responsible policy position to take. It is not a responsible thing to do for London. It would be devastating for London, and I think most Londoners are savvy enough to recognise that. They can smell a rat when they see one.
Or you could just come out and say, yes, I understand it is difficult and fares will have to go up. I don't know by how much, but they will have to go up.
Well, I have been clear that I will protect the transport budget and I will bear down on fares.
Something like fares, I think, is something that directly affects many London voters. It's an issue of trust for London voters, whether or not they believe a candidate can deliver on that issue.
That is the task facing these two over the next month. Carl Mercer, BBC London News.
Well, of course, it's not just the Zach and Sadiq show. Here are the other main candidates on their priority for transport.
Fares will need to go up by inflation, not inflation plus 1%. I'm sure you can make some savings there. But actually, Londoners want some, bold ideas around policies. That's why we're saying half-price fares by £7 to really help those low-income Londoners who go in and keep our city moving, but also try and encourage people to travel earlier to help with overcrowding.
You've got to look at TfL. Huge amount of waste, there's no question about that. Huge amount of money used on consultancies and all of this. And the fact is that has simply got to be done away with.
We're not shying away from the fact that if we cut fares, which we plan to do, we need to replace that money, and that we need to deal with the air pollution crisis and cut congestion and traffic at the same time. So we have a plan that would charge motorists a little bit more.